exciting when you remember your first day of school? I remember one time I got these green shoes that were like suede, little green shoes, and it was a few days before school started, but my mom had made me this orange sleeveless dress, and I was just in a frantic angst that orange and green didn't go together. You know, I wanted to wear my new shoes, but I didn't want to wear the orange dress. Anyway, those were the biggest problems in my life at the time. All right, let's think of our children, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-greats, grandnieces, nephews, sons and daughters. Together, child of light, we love you and bless you. We see the Spirit of God within you, guiding, protecting, and prospering you always, always, always. We see their schools safe and surrounded by the light of God, the protection and power of God, so that they can go and have their learning environments be ones of joy and fun. So that's all true. Jack, do we have the church blessing? No, we're right into the message. Okay, that's all right. Healing helps to build belief. Myrtle Fillmore's healing practices. But before we start, this is kind of a long, humorous story, so stay with me here. It's cute. After Quasimodo's death, how many of you remember Quasimodo, the bell ringer? Right, okay. After Quasimodo's death, the bishop of the Cathedral of Notre Dame sent word throughout Paris that a new bell ringer was needed. The bishop decided that he would conduct the interviews in the belfry. Several applicants demonstrated their skills when a lone, armless man came in and said he was there to apply for the bell ringer's job. The incredulous bishop said, "But you have no arms." "No matter," said this man. "Observe." He then began striking the bells with his face, producing a beautiful melody. The astonished bishop listened and knew he had found a suitable replacement for Quasimodo. But suddenly, the armless man tripped and plunged out of the belfry window to his death. When the stunned bishop reached the street, a crowd had gathered around the fallen figure, drawn by the beautiful music they'd heard only moments before. One of them asked Bishop, "Who was this man?" "I don't know his name," the bishop sadly replied, "but his face rings a bell." There's more. Despite the sad event, the bishop continued his interviews for the bell ringer of Notre Dame. The first applicant said, "Your Excellency, I am the twin brother of the poor armless wretch who fell to his death from this very belfry yesterday. I pray that you honor his life by allowing me to replace him in this duty." The bishop agreed to give the man an audition, but as he prepared to ring the bells, the man groaned, clutched his chest, and died on the spot. Two monks, hearing the bishop's cries of grief at this second tragedy, rushed up the stairs to his side. "What has happened?" the first monk asked breathlessly. "Who is this man?" "I don't know his name," sighed the distraught bishop, "but he's a dead ringer for his brother." All right, this is pretty bad. Dead ringer for his brother. There you go. Kind of a long story. Healing helps to build belief. An attorney was prone to headaches, and so he went to the doctor, and the doctor gave him a prescription that if he swallowed the little pill, it would relieve his headache immediately. He was just amazed at that. And one day in court, he was trying this really difficult case, and he felt this headache come on, and he reached in his pocket and popped one of the little pills, and his headache went away immediately. And at the end of the trial, he was correcting some of his notes, and he reached in his pocket to get the little pencil eraser that he kept there for making changes, and he realized he pulled out the pill, and he realized he'd swallowed the little pencil eraser, thinking it was the pill that would give him immediate headache relief. But it had worked. It had worked. So this is a perfect example of faith in action, of belief in action, and our ability to have belief assert itself and give us healing. He believed he swallowed something that had the power to heal his headache, and it did. And it did. That's the placebo thing that the doctors have long talked about. We can't believe people when they say that something is impossible to create. In unity, when you know how to create with energy and light, anything is possible. anything is possible. And that challenges some of us to the very core of our being. You don't mean this is possible or that could possibly work out. But you can learn to use your divine faculty of imagination to picture something that does not yet exist. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I always read that scripture, the evidence of things not yet seen, because you're working on them, you're developing them in mind, in consciousness, in the great universal field. It is one of your highest abilities. Your imagination is one of your highest abilities because it transcends your conscious mind and external appearances. Oh, look at the owie. I always think as a child, they get a little boo-boo and you put a Band-Aid on it so they don't see the problem anymore. You know, and now they even make really cute Band-Aids, don't they? Little Snoopy Band-Aids and Power Ranger Band-Aids and all of that. Your imagination transcends your conscious mind and external appearances and links you with a higher consciousness, links you with universal mind. Divine mind, let's see what this slide is. Oh, there's the scripture. Nothing they have imagined they could do would be impossible to them, Genesis. Can you read that tiny print from back there? Anyway, next slide, Jack. Divine mind, where all things are possible, that's Genesis. Nothing they have imagined they could do would be impossible. Charles Fillmore said, this is a bit long, one of his longer quotes, in following the teachings of Jesus, people have developed in their body a super energy that permeates the physical structure. Spiritual thinking breaks open the physical cells and atoms and releases their imprisoned life. When you're lining up with the universal Christ consciousness and thinking about it and allowing it and feeling it, here's my heart, Lord, you know, when you're singing your words and allowing them to infiltrate your body, you are breaking open the physical cells and atoms that release their healing power. That's what you're doing. All things, Charles Fillmore said, all things, all conditions of the body have their origin in divine mind. And it's through prayer and affirmative thinking that we link our mind with divine mind. I go up and out because it's like the unified field, the universal consciousness of God. If my hand is going up, I'm not saying God is out there somewhere. God is everywhere, in here, out there, omnipresent, right? All things, all conditions of body have their origin in divine mind, and it is through prayer and affirmative thinking that we link with divine mind, Jack. Divine mind, all conditions, there it is, all conditions in your body have their origin in divine mind, and it's prayer and affirmative thinking. It's right use of spiritual law. Righteousness is right use of spiritual law. Through affirmative thinking and prayer, you link with divine mind, and then all things are possible. And you want to make that higher thinking, that spiritual thinking, a way of life. I think I shared with you last week when I sprained my foot, someone was checking up on me saying, how's your foot? And I just blurted out, it's healing. I didn't say, oh, you know, it's better, or I can't, I'm wearing a shoe now. I just was in the stream of, it's healing. Probably could have said, I am healed. That would have maybe been a better affirmation. But just off the top of my head, I entered into that realm of healing life, not sprained foot. Do you hear me? I'm not talking bad about you. Anyway, divine mind, God is never absent from you. The Creator is constantly giving form to your life according to the exact pattern that you're giving it with your words, your thoughts, and your feelings and your actions, right? You are an outpicturing of what you hold in consciousness. And if you don't like the picture that you're expressing, you begin to work in consciousness to change that, to change the health of your body, the streaming of life in your body, whatever it is. And the first step in creating or restoring health to your body is to establish your faith in the omnipresent substance as the source of all that is. And that's the unified field, the universal Christ consciousness. You have to learn to trust it, learn to put your faith in it. I think that's a slide too, Jack. The first step in restoring health is to establish your faith in the Unity calls it substance, divine substance. There's a shimmering essence invisible ethers. Charles Fillmore called it the ethers. Jesus called it the kingdom of the heavens. It's just invisible to us, but it sources us, it's in us, it's outside of us, it's around us, it's everywhere. And you put your faith in that, something that's in you but not of you, that's greater than you. And you learn to work with that. I love the example of the acorn and all the growth in nature it illustrates. In that little tiny acorn is the mighty oak, right? You can't judge by appearances. If I tried to find an acorn to bring today, but let's imagine I had an acorn here, and would you see a 100-foot oak tree with many branches? If you looked at this, would you think that the potential in that acorn, the seed that was implanted in the life of that acorn was there? It is. All power and potential is the seed implanted in it. The same is true for us. The Christ Spirit is implanted in us. It's the source of our being. And all of our magnificence, all of our potential, all of our health and life is there to be expressed, to be tapped. And we tap it. It says, within you is the same power with all the potentiality of all that you are in all your magnificence. And this power is static until brought forth from conditions furnished by you, right? The acorn does nothing until the right conditions are present, till the heat and the light and the moisture and the nourishment are there, and then the acorn shell breaks and the tree begins to grow. Same thing in you. The Christ Spirit is within you until you begin to furnish it with the link, the connection, the love, the prayers, the affirmative prayer, everything. And you begin to work with that and nurture that. It changes everything. So when there's a need for healing, you shift your beliefs to enable you to tap your inner potential. And as you see and feel love as vibrant health at a cellular level, the pictures you send in your mind, the feelings you feel in your heart, change your vibration. As you're vibrating in this omnipresent substance. And it's like a magnetism that draws the right life down into you, down into your very DNA. It links with the source of your being. Now, one way I love to do this is one of my favorite meditations is Sanaya Roman's work, where she talks about, I want to walk you through that this morning, where she talks about linking with the universal Christ mind. So let me share with you what she writes in her book. I wish I could remember the name of her book. Anyway, she says, imagine a grid work of light around your head, and it extends straight upward into the higher dimensions. And it can really just think about, even in your mind, your brain moving up into the higher neural networks in your brain, into the higher dimensions of your mind. The higher it goes, the finer and more beautiful the grid work becomes. And then you send your awareness upward along the grid work, and you imagine that you are linking with the higher aspects of universal God mind everywhere. Seeming miracles of healing become possible when you train your mind to think spiritually. You imagine then in this scenario that you're meeting with what you want to create. Health in your body, prosperity in your finances, harmony in your relationships. You imagine meeting with what you want to create in its unmanifested energy as a vibration, just as in the substance, just shimmering and shining. You imagine you meet it there in divine substance. And then you mentally work with whatever image comes into your mind and you make it beautiful. So if you're working on healing your body, you lift up into that omnipresent divine mind, and then you give your mind beautiful pictures of your body perfectly restored, your spine strong, and you're standing up tall, and you're walking easily, and your posture is beautiful. Any tumor dissolving out of you, being flushed down the toilet, the plumbing, you don't need it in your life anymore. You make it beautiful. The same thing is true for us in moving our church. We want to lift up into the mind of divine mind, and there let the vibration be, let us create what we want to create, which is a beautiful new place to worship. that's light-filled and beautiful, and everything we need is there. And we envision that. That's why we have an affirmation for the sale of our church property. We envision a new buyer coming. We think this building has energy and it's vibrating. And we thank this building, it can hear us. We thank it for sheltering us all these years, keeping us warm in the winter and cool now in the summer, and creating a beautiful place where we can come in and worship together and grow spiritually. The building can hear us, and we thank it, and we notify it. A new owner is coming. Somebody new is coming to love it, and we lovingly release it and give way, hand it off to this new person that's going to come and adore this building, be so grateful to have found this new space. All of that is not woo-woo. That's giving power to what we want to see happen in our ministry, in our lives. So you let the energy of what you want change, Sanaya Roman says, into subatomic particles of light. And then you see those shimmering particles of light cross over. They leap from the invisible world of spirit into your body for healing. They leap out of our minds and what we're envisioning for our new place of worship. They leap out of our idea into that building that's right for us, that place that's right for us. I've seen some beautiful places. I really feel that we're standing in a sea of opportunity right now as a collective consciousness, as a ministry. We are standing in a sea of opportunity. And what we create together with our minds here on Sunday mornings and in our prayer work, when we're alone in our own prayer time, if you lift up and love this building and love this structure, love having ministry in beautiful Northern California, the city of Auburn, all of that releases those subatomic particles of light and goes out and magnetizes the right place for us. But we're standing in this sea of opportunity, and it's exciting. There's no fear in it. There's no worry about change or anything like that happening. We're in dominion. We have dominion over our new place. And it's going to be so exciting and so beautiful. So stay tuned. You radiate these subatomic particles of Christ, the Christ energy of life, of wholeness, of substance, and you radiate from the DNA into, you envision them in the DNA of your cells of your body, healing every part. They're in the core of you. They're in the core of you, and then they're radiating out through your body, streaming like the circulation of your blood. Jesus understood there are spiritual dimensions and levels of mind activity that are beyond our conscious mind, a higher level of mind. One of my favorite ways to pray to achieve this is I just simply recite the words, I am now lifted up into the Jesus Christ level of awareness. What was Jesus' level of awareness? I don't know. But I'm lifted up into the Jesus Christ level of awareness. My mind is one with the mind of Jesus Christ. Together we go forward into infinite mind or divine mind. That way I know I'm in that universal mind Jesus talked about, an activity above and beyond my conscious mind. But there's power in those words. There's power in the name of Jesus Christ because his consciousness is still active in the ethers. And you can join with it, put your hand in the hand of spirit and go forward. Spiritual thinking separates itself from all negative beliefs in the body as material or impure or diseased or weak. It just simply operates at a higher level of mind when you're spiritual thinking. I won't go in there. So, when you perceive an idea of life and health, you have to give it form by infusing it with the substance of your faith. You know, if there's something going on in your body, you have to infuse it with your faith. That it's my ankle, my foot is perfect and whole in every way. It's restored to its original pattern of perfection. You have to say yes to life, and you must not only see your healing as a theory, but there must be an actual capturing of it in consciousness. You know, you sit still, go into the silence, as Charles Fillmore suggested. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom, and then you're silent. And you allow that infusion of spirit to move into any, you can direct it with your thought into any part of your body that you want to see healed, right? So healing helps. I said we'd talk about those that Myrtle Fillmore gave us, and so I have some that can build your faith and belief. Number one, Jack, number one, Myrtle said healing needs belief. Jesus said that. Do you believe that I'm able to do this? You know, belief is the power that sets in motion the activity of God to carry out the healing. If you don't have belief, you got to go back to square one and start with, I'm willing to believe this is possible, right? The centurion servant, I believe, help thou my unbelief. Help the parts of me that doubt and fear. You have to go back to surrender to believing. What do you believe about yourself? Is one of the questions asked in the research I was doing this week. Do you have heartfelt trust and faith that you can be healed? Do you imagine yourself whole and well, capable in every way? Do you think of yourself as alive, strong, healthy, vital, and filled with the life of spirit? What do you believe about our new building? Do you believe it's beautiful? Do you believe it's perfect for us? Do you believe our community will continue in great fellowship and times of connection and love and worship? What do you believe is possible? To believe in yourself in this way has a tremendous effect on the way you feel, doesn't it? And on the way you act. And again, Myrtle says you want to use your imagination to paint a beautiful picture of what you're creating in mind. You know, some of you journal about it, some of you do, are artists and you make pictures or vision boards or whatever, but just keep that circulation of divine ideas flowing in you. The second thing here, the natural condition of your body is wholeness. Divine life, love, power, substance, and intelligence. Dorothy Pearson used to do those 5 fingers over and over. There is divine life, love, power, substance, and intelligence. And it's in every cell of your body. Every part of you has infinite wisdom and knows how to restore itself to its original pattern of perfection and its purpose. Life, love, substance, power, intelligence. They're all in you, and it's in every part of you. The natural condition of your body is wholeness. And in unity, we believe that those 5 elements are in every part of you, your consciousness, and your life. If you're experiencing illness, you can help heal your body by realizing that the natural condition of your body is wholeness, not ailments and aching. The natural condition of your mind is happiness and joy, not bitterness, not resentment, not criticalness, not negativity, not any of that. Number 3, Myrtle said, you're a living soul born into being by the very breath of God. That's number 3, Jack. You are a living soul born into being by the very breath of God. I remember one time when my cat had kittens, she had a whole litter, and one of the kittens, I think, had died. And you know how a mother cat will push it out of the way of the other ones. So if there's something wrong with it, it doesn't infect the other babies. So she'd push it off to the side of the box that she was in. And I watched my mom. I was probably maybe, I don't know if I was going to say I was 6 years old. It might have been 10. But my mom went in and she looked at the kitten and she picked it up in her hand. You know, it was no bigger than an ink pen, little tiny thing. And she laid it in the palm of her hand, and I watched her blow breath of life into it. She'd wait, trying to resuscitate that little kitten. And when I saw this scripture, you know, you are a living soul born into the being by the very breath of God, that image came to me. I don't remember if the kitten lived or not. I don't know that it did. But it was such a beautiful example of life-giving breath. You know, life-giving breath. God breathed into your nostrils the breath of life, and you became a living being. I think that's on slide also, I'm not sure. No, number 4. I am created in God's image and likeness, after God's likeness. You are capable of expressing all the qualities of spirit. every part of you is receptive to the power that gave it being. Every cell is penetrated and permeated by the life of spirit. So you think about that. You're created in the image and likeness of God. What does God look like? Life, love, power, substance, intelligence. Every part of you is that vibrating energy. These are Myrtle Fillmore's helping us by giving us these helps. Your body is incorruptible and eternal. And Charles Fillmore used to say he was going to live forever. And remember, Dorothy Pearson and others said, Mr. Fillmore, don't say that so loudly. But again, he was trying to demonstrate his dominion over what he believed about the eternality of our essence. I may not live in this physical body all of my life, but my soul is eternal and indestructible. I am the Christ of God in expression. And where I go and how I take this body or that energy, we don't know yet. But Charles Fillmore did think he was going to live in his present body forever. He thought his cells would regenerate constantly and renew his body. He lived to be 94, but he felt very defeated when the time came for him to cross over. Unlike Myrtle, she worked in silent unity with all the letter writers and all the staff that were there. She went through to each of their desks and thanked them for their love and their devotion and said she was going to go home now and rest. She said she felt she could do more work from the other side. If she crossed over to the other side, she felt she could be more effective or do more work. So, I am created in God's image and after God's likeness. So, can you see what it says here? Can you see when you quit giving unnecessary attention to your symptoms and you turn to the realization that there is divine life, love, substance, wisdom, and intelligence in every part of you, that your healing can begin? That your healing can begin. Just even hearing those words, your body's sitting up going, oh, is that right? You know, it's taking note. Every cell, number 5, every cell is in harmony with every other cell. That's up there, Jack, number 5. From the innermost marrow of your bones to the outermost edges of your skin, you know that every cell in your body cooperates with every other cell. If you cut your finger, they send a message here to restore that to life and health. I love the example that Eric Butterworth gives in his book, where if you take the Band-Aid and wrap it around your finger, not Band-Aid, rubber band, tight, your finger, end of your finger will get red and swollen and purple. And if you leave it on there, it's in trouble, right? But the minute you take that rubber band off, what happens? All of the life force, the intelligence of the life force within you rushes to restore your finger to normal color, normal function, normal size, normal everything. That life force is everywhere in you. You have dominion over it to direct it in your body. Every cell is in harmony with every other cell, and they're all working together for your perfection. Every organ, every gland, every nerve, every duct, every artery, everything inside of you is working in cooperation. So, Myrtle said you have to trust your wonderful capacity, the capacity within you of the inner Christ consciousness. You have to trust your wonderful capacity to resist disease. It's in you to only know wholeness. You have to trust your capacity to counteract infection. Your body knows how to do that. You have to trust the strong life currents flowing through every part of you and bringing healing. It's in you. It's in you. And the way you activate it or connect with it is in mind, in divine mind. I am now lifted up into the Jesus Christ level of awareness. Lifted up into the Jesus Christ level of mind. My mind is one with the mind of the universal Christ consciousness. And in that realm, all things are possible. What I decree, what I declare, begins to shape itself and form itself in my life, in my body, in my finances, in every part of me. So, from the throne of that divine mind, divine love, God sends an unending stream of divine life, and it flows through every vein, every capillary, every artery, into every atom of your being. And it cleanses you, it keeps you cleansed, it nourishes you, it revitalizes you, it refreshes you, it Your body is a temple for the living God, meaning your body is an outpicturing of your collective, of your consciousness, and your consciousness is the link to the universal God mind and how it's expressing on earth. And so your body becomes a temple of the living God. At your core, I have this one too, Jack. At your core, you are ageless. What is it? You're alive with spiritual activity. You are ageless, diseaseless, deathless, eternal vehicle for your soul to use for the glory of God. You get up in the morning and you say, I'm on purpose to my life. I'm healthy, whole, alive, filled with life, love, substance, infinite wisdom and power, and I'm on purpose to my life. And you let that activity stream in and through you. I am an ageless, diseaseless, deathless, eternal vehicle, instrument of spirit. Myrtle said, the healing Christ presence is available to you right now. Your body is a marvelous instrument designed to work in cooperation with the divine life of its creation. So this morning I invite you to consciously recognize and acknowledge the wholeness that's within you, the wholeness that you are. See your body in your mind's eye as perfect in spirit, and trust that your physical perfection is at hand. And we have an affirmation to work with. Last slide, I think. Last slide. Maybe, maybe not. That's it. All right, it's attuned to the infinite vitality, I thrive. Attuned to the infinite vitality of spirit, I thrive. Let's say it that way. Attuned to the infinite vitality of spirit, I thrive. All right, good. And for our meditation this morning, I'm going to walk us through Sanaya Roman's process so that we can use that for our lives. And so let's take a minute and get prepared for prayer. So take a deep breath in and take a moment to become settled and let all the words I've been spilling out just calm themselves. And our intent is to join our minds and our hearts together as God's love flows in and through us. In and through this ministry, this collection of people and love, fellowship. And as we turn within, we release any outer concerns and allow God's peace and love to fill our awareness. And in the words of one of my favorite ways to pray, we are now in the presence of pure being. Our minds are lifted up to the level of the Jesus Christ awareness. Our mind is one with the mind of Christ. And that mind is sourced by divine mind, not separate entities, not three things, one wholeness. Sanaya Roman says, imagine a grid work of light around your head. See it extending straight upward into the higher dimensions. See it moving through the ceiling of this building, through the rafters, through the roof, into the skies above Auburn, into the skies above our nation, into the skies above our planet, into the universe. And let your mind become one with the mind of Christ, the universal Christ consciousness. resting in this super consciousness. Imagine meeting with what you want to create in its unmanifest energy. Maybe you want to create healing in your body, harmony in a relationship that feels broken. Certainly we're creating the perfect sale of our building and our new right and perfect meeting place. So in your mind's eye, let the energy of what you want change into subatomic particles of light. That means seeing your body become shimmering essence in your mind's eye. Seeing this building become shimmering essence. Seeing our new place to meet shimmering essence, filled with subatomic particles of light. And then imagine those light particles that are shimmering everywhere, crossing over from your mind, from the invisible world of spirit, into the reality of what you're creating, into your relationships, into the health of your body, into the perfect building for us. And see these light particles move into the very core of what you're creating. If it's health in your body, these light particles move to the center of the nucleus of your cells, the very core of how your life is sourced. Let these light particles move into your DNA, which contains your life code. We let these light particles move into the collective consciousness of our ministry, which contains all of our future, all of our essence as unity of Auburn. And then we radiate these light particles, this universal Christ energy of life, wholeness, prosperity, peace. We radiate it into the cells of our body, into the cells of the building we'll move to, into the cells of this building for its new owner, into the cells of the new owner. And see all things conforming to the perfection of the Christ. And then we let ourselves be at peace, knowing that our work is done in thought, in mind, in prayer. That we've touched the very hem, the very edge of the universal Christ mind, where all things are possible. And all will be well. And I'm reminded of the words of Jesus, Father, I thank you that you hear me, and that you hear me always. And we take time to call into our prayer time our loved ones, those for whom we're praying in this ministry, the names in our prayer chest. For each one of you here today, let your mind move to the person in front of you, the person behind you, the person on your left, the person on your right. And affirm their life in wholeness, their peace and happiness. Any conflict in their heart is now dissolved, and they're filled with joy. First, we affirm, attuned to infinite vitality, I thrive. Attuned to infinite vitality, I thrive. Together. Attuned to infinite vitality, I thrive. And then in our prayers for all of those for whom we're praying and all of those for who we love. Attuned to infinite vitality, you thrive. Again, attuned to infinite vitality, you thrive. So gently, gently then we can allow our attention to come back to our mind and energy in our bodies and give thanks that we have this marvelous process